Welcome terug. So folks, if you have been following me in relation to Endmyopia, you might have noticed that it's been a while since I've recorded anything worthwhile. You might have seen the podcast I did with Jake a couple of months ago, and that really gave an update of where I'm at and what I'm doing. So this is to give a small extra status update on what's going on, and also to see how I'm doing regarding to what we talked about on the podcast. I'll share the link to the podcast included in this video, so it's easy to get to that data. On the podcast with Jake, I was actually telling Jake and all of you guys that I was using -1.0 contact lenses, and he actually told me to not to do that. He thought it might be more useful to use some glasses with good clarity and alternate between plain eyesight and good clarity. This is what's called the zero diopter reset. You're constantly reminding your eyes of what the picture should be, and then depriving your eyes of that clearness, that good picture, and you are stimulating your biology in your eyes to get back to that clarity. So I've been doing that. On the podcast I told Jake that I might go up to -1.5 glasses to do so, and that does seem like a big jump coming from -1.0 contacts, but it's important to factor in the difference in distance, the so-called vertex distance between your eyeball and the corrective lenses. Contact lenses are situated right on top of your eye, and so there is really no vertex distance. With glasses, the corrective lenses are placed a little bit in front of the eye, so they need to redirect the light differently, stronger, to get that focal point nicely focused on your retina. So if you factor that into the equation, you don't get an increase of 0.5 diopters or half a diopter. No, you only get an increase of 0.25 or a quarter diopter, because if you translate these -1.0 contacts to glasses, you immediately end up with -1.25 glasses. And -1.5 is useful because it gives good clarity, which is needed for the zero diopter reset. I also need to apologize somewhat for coming on the podcast with my contact lenses in. We just had family and friends over, and I rushed upstairs to make it in time for the podcast, and I didn't have time to get them out of my eyes. That's a bad habit, if it's a habit. Luckily for me it's not, but do not do that. Use differentials or plano if you can for up close, and use normalized for distance vision. So how is that going? Alternating between -1.5 and my own eyesight, on uncorrected eyesight, that's going really well. It does provide me with some nice clarity, and I can tell that it gets easier over time. I'm really not ready to move down a quarter diopter just yet, and it's been a while, because I was actually using the same kind of correction when I recorded my first video 2 years ago. That does not seem like much progress, but in reality there is a lot going on under the hood. And let me explain that for a minute. Because if I use my -1.0 contacts, I can get good clarity. If I use my -1.0 glasses, I can get good clarity. If I use my peak prescription -0.75 glasses, I get good clarity. So my eyes do not seem that much dependent anymore on what kind of correction I put in front of it. Even with uncorrected eyesight, I'm able to get good clarity from time to time. So what I'm noticing is that my eyes are slowly getting the gist of this by themselves. And with that, you start to experience clear flashes, everything clears up, the world clears up, and that should expand, and the time period should extend over time. I'm waiting for that to happen, and that might be what's going to be the case for me. Not moving down a quarter diopter and another quarter diopter and so on until I'm ametropic again. But it might be that at some point, similar to what happened to Jake, at some point it just snaps into focus, and then you're there. You just need to keep up the good habits. I would like to add 2 tips to the viewing audience. We didn't have time to get this into the podcast because of the time constraints. People, get enough sleep. It's really important. Get 7 or 8 hours of good quality sleep. You need this to be relaxed and your body to function optimally for many things, not just your eyesight. But if you're doing Endmyopia and you are following this, you know that if you are sleep deprived or you have not enough sleep, you will have a lot more difficulty getting clear vision and getting your eyes a proper stimulus. So get enough sleep. I know I'm bad at this. I usually go to bed a little too late, so that's slowing me down. But if you get enough sleep, you can make better progress. It's also better for your body too. So please do. Another tip I'd like to share is keep wearing your normalized indoors. That's important because if you think about it, usually indoors the lighting is less. And if the lighting is less, then you need some stronger correction. And if you use your differentials indoors, that's useful for when you're looking at something up close, of course, but usually when you're indoors, you are looking beyond 1 meter of a distance, so your normalized might still fit the bill. And if you are walking around the house with less good available lighting, and your differentials aren't giving you a proper stimulus, a nice small stimulus, then you are not helping yourself, you're slowing yourself down because it's too big of a challenge to overcome. So consider keeping your normalized on your face indoors. Also, get enough out there, get enough distance vision, make sure that you take the time to go out and see the world with good distance vision in natural ambient lighting. That's really important. I'm also not able to do that to the proper extent, so that's also slowing me down. And I do notice that it helps if I'm out and about for a couple of hours. I really get a lot better vision because your eyes adapt, and if you do that enough, it becomes permanent. So that's it for the tips. I would like just to briefly mention a couple of things on this COVID-19 crisis. Please, people, make sure that you have enough vitamin D in your system. Make sure that you get a high enough serum vitamin D level. I'll post a link to Dr. Mercola's great recommendation below this video so you can check it out for yourself. But please make sure, because if you contract and fall a victim to the COVID-19 disease, you will be in a much better shape to deal with it. So, vitamin D, up it. Also, eat real food, drink real stuff, not of that processed stuff that's really messing with your body and it's really not helping you one bit. Do also check out Ivor Cummins' great and extensive analysis of what's happening with this COVID crisis. We need someone to properly look at the numbers of what's going on and put it into the proper perspective. I'll link that below too, but please have a look because it does give a lot of extra clarity, so to speak, to what's really going on and what we can expect for the future. And the last thing I'd like to share with you is a warning. people, please think twice about getting vaccinated for COVID-19. The big pharma manufacturing a vaccine is demanding judicial and medical indemnification, meaning that they are asking the governments around the world to give them to make sure that they can never be held accountable if something bad happens with this vaccine, if other health issues arise. So think about it. Do you want a rushed vaccine that has this indemnification on it, so that if you take it and something bad happens, you'll be in worse shape? Please think about it and consider it carefully if this is an option for you. But my personal advice, don't do it. Stay safe and make sure that you build your body into its own first line of defense, because it really can be, and that's enough. So folks, when I've got something new and worthwhile to share with you all, I'll certainly do that. Perhaps I'll see you in the Meow forum, and otherwise stay healthy, stay safe, and eat real food and empower your body the way it should be. Thank you.
Everything's not awesome.
Everything's not cool.
I am so depressed.
Everything's not awesome.
Whoa, I think I finally get Radiohead.
Bro, you should check out Elliott Smith.
What's the point? There's no hope. Awesomeness was a pipe dream.
Aye, my spirits be at the bottom of the sea.
Love's not real, I just wanna eat carbs past the ice cream.
I'm not a thing you can just use to fill emotional voids with.
Stop, everyone. Okay, just listen. Everything's not awesome, but that doesn't mean that it's hopeless and bleak. Everything's not awesome, but in my heart